Indeed, greetings upon you, my beloved and holy friends. I do appreciate your presence so much today. Whew, I feel like I need it. Like I feel these streams have become something that I feel like I need to be there for others. When they might be going through something difficult in life, something was said to them that has broken them down. I feel like I want to be able to be there for people like that, for people like me in pain when they need someone like that, right? But today, today especially, I feel like you friends gonna be here for me. Like today has been a little bit of a roller coaster of a day, if you will. It started off where I woke up like without my alarm pretty early, and usually around the time that I go and dance. And like I was up and I was thinking to myself, okay, we're gonna go dancing. And like on top of all of these feelings, like I knew that there was this thing that I wanted to do. Thank you, Northern Lowell, for the silver, my friend. I appreciate it. And good morning to you as well, Simon. I appreciate your presence so much today, friend. I really need you guys right now. I really do need you. Anyway, so I woke up. I was just like feeling not not myself, if you will. How you feel not yourself sometimes. I was just feeling like there was some sort of lack within inside of myself, and that I didn't want to bring that feeling of lack to you friends. At the end of the day, I was like, this is not something that you friends deserve or whatever. So I went back to sleep, and I was having this weird dream, like over and over and over again. I was having this dream about this like jester type of character, like a clown, doing the most ridiculous of things. Before I continue, I want to show you friends that I'm smoking on 2 different strains today. Look at the difference in the color of these buds. Can't see it that great on stream. It's not horrible, but yeah, smoking 2 different streams. A purple bud and then some iced cabbage as well. Anyway, and this jester would do these things that to my normal human mind seemed trivial. It would do things like put things in a place that would cause someone to trip or something like that, right? And then as a result of them tripping, it would be like this funny back and forth of like, look, I did this thing, they tripped, and now we're both laughing at it. And it was this playful like exchange of constantly doing something for the sake of doing nothing, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Like this thing was doing this thing over and over again. It meant nothing, it didn't help anything. It was just doing it for the sake of doing it because it was fun and it was playful. And I woke up and the first thing that I typed like on my WhatsApp status, I felt like I had to get this idea out, is it's okay to be playful, silly, and goofy about things. Stop taking things so personally. It's about us, not you. And I felt like, damn, I'm so happy that I got that message from my dream state. And I was like, okay, today is going to be a sick day. I'm going to get into it. Do the things I'm supposed to be doing. And like I kind of walk in on the house. Like I literally only woke up like at 9 a.m. this morning, which is atrocious to me because I'm usually up like before 5. Anyway, I was like up at 9 and I walk into the house and I see my family is still there. So it's Sunday. Usually they go to church. And like I see everyone there and I ask, why aren't you at church? And my mom replies, oh no, your dad's voice is hurting or something like that. And me kind of, being a little bit satirical, still coming from this playful energy that I just experienced in my dream state. I was like, oh, what? Can't you listen if your voice is hurt? Right? It's like, it's a church, so you're supposed to listen or whatever. And it was like, oh yeah, but what if I want to, because my dad is usually like one of the musicians at church, so he has to sing and stuff and play guitar. Like, what if I don't want to do that? I'm like, then just tell him you don't want to do that. And what if I have to talk to people? And he's like, oh yeah, no. Talking to people is gonna hurt your voice further. Anyway, so like the next thing I hear is like a noise from the movie room, if you will. So my dad is watching something on YouTube, and I walk in on him, and like I'm going to eat red meat. Thank you for being here with me. Various confidence. Love you too, my friend. Thank you for being here with me. Anyway, And like I hear the sound from the TV room, and I go to it, and he's like watching SUVs, V8 SUVs drag race each other. And I'm like, okay, this is cool. Like, it's not for me, but this is cool and all. And I ask him, can I show you a video after this one? And the video that I showed him is something called Damsel Dimitri Dolphin Quest, right? DMT Quest. Oh man, you know what? I'm just gonna go straight for it. It's called DMT Quest, and it follows this understanding, or this process of understanding, where they explain to you the new scientific data that has been found about dimethyltryptamine, it being produced in the brain at like scary quantities, and what that could mean for our perception of reality, basically. And I wanted to show this to my dad to kind of just introduce him to a little bit more of these ideas, because I believe a lot of how we believe, a lot of what we believe is regulated by our chemistry, our biochemistry. And I was showing him this thing, and like directly after it, he almost like took it as a chance, He's like, okay, since we watched one of your things, you're gonna watch one of my things, he tells me, like something like that. And we start watching, and okay, like while he tells me that he's gonna we're gonna watch his thing now, he asks me, am I going to show the same amount of respect or something like that for what is going to be said on the video that he showed for mine? And then he opens a video that's called The Case for Christ, and it's about this man that kind of went and did research about Christ, and the stories that followed to it, the stories that led up to where he was, and then the stories that came from it afterwards. And they were going through like these explanations of it being passed on by stories, and then years later it was written down as first eyewitness accounts, and this, that, and the other. And while this is going on, I'm an active questioner. Like, it's very difficult to put my mind off and stop questioning things. So as these things are being like said to me, and like being said to us, I'm questioning these things, right? I'm like, but what about this thing that they're saying? That doesn't really make sense, does it? What about this thing? What about that thing? And he gets so angry at me, and he accuses me of being disrespectful. And I'm asking him, how is me asking questions disrespectful? Because I'm not trying to be disrespectful in my nature. I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to get to the truth. And we finished this like 1 hour and 11 minute or something documentary. And like, obviously what he thought was going to happen to me or whatever didn't happen to me. And I just felt even more secure in the way that I understand things for myself personally. Uncle Becky, thank you so much for being here with me. Glad you stopped by this morning. It turned out to be a beautiful stream. It really was. Uncle Becky, like, I felt like I was drowning this morning, dude. And as I said to you as well, I kind of, like, this was now afterwards, right? Like, after we've had this basically fight about the things that I believe and the things that he believes. To like sum it up, my dad believes that if I don't accept and I completely give my life to the Christian Jesus, then there is no way for me to redeem my soul, or there's no way for me to reach heaven. There's no way for me to live a good life in the way that I can earn like a good afterlife for myself, if that makes any sense. I believe we as human beings get to choose. We get to live our lives in a way that is going to be indicative of what we're going to get at the end of it. And it's on that fundamental belief system that we can't agree with each other. He believes human beings are evil by nature and need a savior. Otherwise, there's no saving us. I believe each and every single one of us have the potential to save ourselves, by realizing just our place in it and trying to live from that place in a loving way. And like, after this fight, it basically ended with my dad telling me that I'm trying to lead them to ruin, right? Like, I'm trying to lead them to damnation. That's the word that he used. And I was like, wow. I was just like completely stunned. And I kind of went to my room, like I was in tears. And Yeah, I was like, I opened Reddit because I wanted to distract myself. If there's something good for distracting yourself, it is Reddit. And like literally, as I opened up Reddit, I see Uncle Becky is like streaming, and I open up the stream and I tell him what I've been going through today and the things that have been said to me. And yeah, Uncle Becky turned it completely around for me. Thank you, man. Like, I cannot explain to you just how much I appreciate you. And again, he said something about, us being light buddies. Because I believe of us to be beings of light, beings of love, beings that want to bring into this world, you know, just things that will benefit instead of take something away from it at the end of the day. And that's literally just all I'm trying to do. And then having that not only seen, but that being judged, man, in the face of adversity, don't run. And I don't enjoy running away from adversity. But it can be really difficult and very painful when it's your own father that you feel you're in adversity with. And yeah, Uncle Becky, you do a lot, man. You do a lot for me. You do a lot for other friends, and I appreciate you so much, man, because it just makes me realize how the things that you choose to say can completely shift my own perspective, the way that I feel about things, the way that I perceive my journey, the journey of our species as a whole. It just gives me so much hope, man. I appreciate you, friends, being here with me. I'm sorry for the waterworks. Do excuse me. Uh, do you go to church? I don't, friend. Happy Father's Day to your dad, to all dads. Yeah, dude. That's why it hurts even more. It's like, it's Father's Day. It's supposed to be like a celebration of our fathers, and then like, I feel like it's just none of that. No genuine mutual love for one another's or one another's paths, the things that we've done to get to where we are. We are not separate. We are not separate. You know what? Before I write an intention down on this little Garrick paper, or this joint paper technically, you are in a relationship with all of creation, and there is the communication that never stops. You are in a relationship with all of creation, and there is communication that never stops. Hot diggity damn. It gives me some calm. That gives me some calm. It really makes me feel some things. A relationship. That's my intention. Relationships, friend. Relationships. We're in a relationship here as well. I don't think it's a traditional relationship, but we are. There's so many different relationships. And just as knowing that I'm in a relationship with all of creation as well, man, put things into perspective a little bit. Oh, dum. 8 SUVs drag racing, damn, that is pretty sad. V8 SUVs drag racing. I mean, it's cool for the expression of watching V8's drag race, but I don't think it serves much value past seeing which car is going to be the fastest. And technically, you can just skip to the end of the video and find out that as well. That's not what's important, though. That's not the point I was trying to make. Oh, man. Aunt B, good morning, afternoon / evening, friends. I'm sending love to each of you. Thank you so much, Aunt B. Thank you, Haywire Hill. Thank you, Uncle Becky. Thank you, Brownie. Thank you, Billy the Goat. Thank you, Dober. Thank you, friends. Thank you so much. Do you have a lot of money? Unfortunately, no, friend. I am very much broke. Well, that's okay as well. So my sister has a D&D vape pen for me. I'm a little scared, lol. Yeah, don't be scared, dude. Like, I mean, if anything, that is just going to be an expression of death, you know. If I am smoking for relationships, I am drinking water with what intention? To wash away my self doubt. A little bit of a mouthful, but to washing away our self doubt. Hell yeah, that tastes real good. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Hello to you as well, Goldbridge. I appreciate you sharing the space with us, friend. Nice green screen, mate. Thank you, dude. It is. I technically have the best green screen in the entire world. You can see with my curly hair, it can differentiate where the background is and where the foreground is. Like it's super rendering, dude. It has so many processes it's doing per millisecond just to have this happen, dude. Look at it. Look at it. Magic. Da, da, da. This was supposed to be a listening moment, not a questioning moment, lol. Yeah. You see, the thing is as well, Simon, I've been listening for so long, and at the same time, I feel like I've been questioning things for as long as well. And that's literally the reason that I stopped being a Christian in the first place, is because the questions that I was asking wasn't being answered. Right? The people that were claiming to be authorities on these informational systems could not answer the questions that I had to ask. So, with that knowing, if you will, I stopped believing in what I was being told because the people that were telling it to me couldn't answer the rest of my questions. So I realized that the only way for me to kind of find out the things that I feel like my soul wants to know is for me to kind of find that myself, to go out of my own way to find these things for myself instead of expecting the world to teach me these things. And at the end of the day, I guess the world did teach me these things, but not in the same way. Not in the same way. And I feel it's from this place of having found things for myself that I want to help the world as well, Like obviously I don't know anything. How can I on the scale of the universe? But the things that I've learned about depression, about ways of looking at the world, and on how just those two elements of life can change everything. I feel it's a responsibility for me to do for myself, to do for others what no one did for me, I think is a better way of saying it. To do for ourselves the things the world won't, and to do the things for the world that it won't do for us. Yep. Man, I like you, man. Good follow. Thank you, friend. I like you as well. Thank you for joining us. Classic father, son, back and forth. It's so painful, dude. Tough subject. It's hard to be misunderstood. So sorry you had to feel like that. It's okay, Aunt B. It's okay. Like, I'm realizing, especially now within myself, just how much attachment, and I'm using the word attachment very deliberately, I have to my father's approval. And I don't know if it's my biology, you know, just me, my humanness, if you will, as well, that causes this to be in the way that it is. But at the end of the day, I need to realize for myself that no one's opinion of me, no one's approval of me is going to make me whole. Because I already am. I already am whole. I don't need the approval. I don't need someone to tell me, okay, you did a good job. It does help though sometimes. That's also the other thing that I'm so painfully aware of. It does help. I feel like it's a case of him feeling like you are challenging his ego. Yeah, unfortunately, Yater. My dad, like, I want to almost say he doesn't believe in ego, which is a weird thing to say. Like, I've had so many conversations about, like, just about the fact that we're not, these things that we say. We're not our jobs. We're not our bodies. We're not our voices. We're not our names. We are something so much more than that. And when I do the thought experiment of like, realize that there is a voice constantly speaking in your head, then there's also the perception of that voice, right? Something is hearing the speaking of that voice. And then there's also something that is external from it, aware of the one that's listening, of the one that's speaking. And you are that awareness. And like when I talk to my dad about stuff like this, he like, it's like he glosses over, like he can't hear what I'm saying. God is good and God is great. That is all that matters. Yeah, sure, Ryan. Thank you. I appreciate your input, friend. Thank you for the hugs. I appreciate that as well. Love you, man. Love you so much, dude. Religion is not a topic you can share different opinions about. Only just listen and lead your life by example, not words. That is so well put, Simon. That is so, so well put. It's so difficult, though, especially with my dad and myself, because, like, I am, and this is something that hurts me as well. I'm at this point, I'm gonna light this joint before I get into another rant. You know me. Relationships. Relationships. I'm at the point where I love my dad so much, and I want to have conversations with him just about things in general, about the state of our world, about where the future may be taking us, about things I'm passionate about. But I feel like there is this barrier to entry where he doesn't really want to receive any of this information that I want to share with him unless I'm sharing it from a perspective of being a Christian, you know? And like I feel so painfully aware of that when I'm talking to him, because he like looks at me from this perspective of like, okay, these things that he's saying might be interesting, but he's not saying it from this place of knowing that I feel like I know. And then it's like this, he just shuts down. Listening and leading by example is the way. You're so right, Simon. It's okay, love. Thank you, friend. Love you as well, sign. Dude, I'm new here, just found this. Wow, as a dad, you are touching me. Can I tend the rabbits? Be a good dad, my friend. I don't have to tell you that, but be a good dad. It makes such a big difference. And I have a good dad. That's the thing as well. I have a good, God-fearing dad, if you will. But I feel he fears me as well. He's scared of the ideas I have to share. He's scared of the things I understand. Oh man, it's too hard. It's dead again. Have to keep relationships alive as well. Estian, I believe you and your dad are really saying the same thing. But he needs a model, yeah, i.e. Jesus. But really, you both are saying to do the right thing in life and do good. But you, a leader, and don't need a model, Jesus, but you are doing, i.e. Jesus, but you are doing. Like, I understand. Like, here we go, some more. And you spread so much light and love. I wish you could communicate to your father all the good you are and how proud he should be. And you are exactly as you are supposed to be, spreading the love and light. Thank you so much, Lisa. You're right, friend. You are right. Like I'm a fixer at nature, you know. Like, and I feel the relationship between me and my dad is broken. And the thing he expects me to fix it with is going to be me betraying myself, you know. So I'm like in this very difficult situation of I need to do this thing in order to fix this relationship, but the thing that I'm supposed to do is unacceptable. Washing away any soft doubt. I find success in starting with common ground and find agreement before getting to the touchy differences. We've done that as well, Yader. Like, this is something I try and do as well. Like, I make very painfully sure he realizes, because I used to be an atheist, you know, hardcore, tried to convince people God isn't real atheist. I used to be a hardcore, tried to convince God is real Christian as well. And I'm at this point where I'm a little bit more neutral. Like, I'm questioning things. I'm being in a state of like not knowing. And then because of this not knowing, I'm allowing things to be in the way that they are. But I'm not going to take things just at their like word value. Because this thing comes from the Bible, it is fact. And you're not allowed to question that. To my mind and my structure of understanding life, that is just not how it works. You know? And like I believe in God. I believe there is obviously there is something larger than ourselves. If you don't want to believe in a being God, you can just think of the very universe that we're a part of right now, right? The very atoms that make up us is such a minuscule small amount of the atoms that make up the entire universe. And that is something that we are a part of. No matter how you slice it, we are a part of something larger than us. And it's from that, you know, infinite large source that I feel I draw my own energy. And to explain that to someone and them believing that you can't draw that energy, you have to maybe like ask for that energy from this other being. It's difficult, dude. Like, it's a very fundamental difference. My dad also believes that God didn't create the evil in our world, you know. Like, he's not the one that creates the tsunamis, and he's not the one, or she, or it, or they, you know. Like, it's so difficult to talk about this stuff. But, like, all of it is divine in nature, you know. The worst parts of the world, the greatest parts of the world, there is no separation. It's all one. And my dad believes that, you know, sin and these harmful things that happens to us as human beings is something external from his God. And to me, that is delusionary in nature, I feel. I don't even think delusionary is a word, but that's how delusionary I feel about it. Like, you can't have an almighty God that is incapable of things, right? That doesn't make sense. Ah, we are all in one big relationship with ourselves. There really is no boundary. Where I stop and you begin. You're so right, eat red meat. There is no separation. And if you don't understand why I'd say something like there is no separation, if you could condense, you know, the entire universe into the size of a neutron star, right? And then you have a perfectly normal neutron star directly next to it. We, in this neutron star size universe, are closer to one another, wherever our planet is in this universe, to each other than the atoms of this neutron star. Right? You understand? And the atoms of a neutron star are so densely packed that they're like constantly in this liquid plasma state-ish flow, right? Constantly fusing with each other and then creating energy as a result of that, pushing things back, splitting things again. It's a whole mess. And we're in the same mess, even closer to one another than that. That's the crazy part about it, friends. We're not separate. I love this relationship, so divine and pure. Thank you, friend. You're helping me so much, Yader. I appreciate you so much, friend. Bruh, how do aliens make a party? Make a party? Like, if you ask me how do aliens throw a party, I can kind of imagine aliens like dragging the speakers, making sure there's places to seat, sit making sure there's water to drink and food to snack on, and then they just put music on and they kind of vibe to it. But how do they make a party? Now I'm imagining like this one button that these aliens press, and then it makes a party, right? It like even spawns the very beings that are already partying, right? You don't even have to get people going. Press one button, people are already jammed. How important do you feel? Is it that your dad, for you to understand your beliefs, and do you need him to? It's not important for me, for like past the fact that I think it could be something that's beneficial to him, Simon, and it's not going to change my experience of life or the things that I believe at the end of the day as well, dude. Literally, like, it's not going to make any difference to me. But it's because I feel like I understand something about the nature of life and how we're supposed to live it. Like, remember as well, I see the relationship my mom's and my dad's relationship, right? I see that stuff, and I see that there are things that are happening that aren't indicative of a healthy relationship, and understanding certain things can actually help for stuff like that. So if anything, the things I'm trying to do for my dad, I'm trying to do from a place of love, because I want to, in my own way, help him, and I feel he doesn't think I can. And it's a very weird dynamic of me being, the son, the younger of the two of us, and feeling I have something to help my dad with, and him feeling he's the older of two of us, there's nothing I can help him with, and it's like it's there as this constant clash and clash, 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 clash. Ah, they planned it, bruh. They planned it. They plan it indeed, dude. If we choose to be good people that spread love in the world and walk on our own understanding of what it means to be a part of divine creation, then we'll never stop walking, friend. Yeah, we'll never stop walking, Uncle Becky. If we can continue to walk in our own path of understanding, that's beautiful, dude. That's all we need to do, right? Walk in our own paths of understanding. Bruh, you don't need money. Yeah, I don't. You're right. It helps to stay alive and stuff, you know, like pay for a place to sleep in. But I don't need it. I don't need it. Like, I've been thinking some weird things as of late. I've been thinking about literally buying myself a freaking tent and a bunch of mobile data and just going and sleeping in the middle of nowhere, dude. I can go like a month without food. So, yeah. Like, we're probably gonna do some whack shit like that as well at some point. I'm sorry, friends. You're gonna be very worried about me, but I'm too hard-headed. And the light we shine can never be dimmed, not even by the blood of our own. Yes, Uncle Becky. Like, it is our. I wanted to say, yeah, actually, it is. It's our responsibility to shine that light as well, because it's like imagining yourself in a dark room, and in this dark room are a bunch of like swords sticking out from the walls, and you hear there's other people in this room with you, and you have this light in your hand, and for you to choose not to shine that light to enlighten the room, let people see about like the swords that are on the walls, so they don't walk into them and stab themselves. It is our responsibility in that same way to shine our lights. Scary to see another perspective so vastly different than our own, especially between the father and son. It's scary. It's scary for him, and unfortunately, his fear came out as condemnation. Condemnation. You're right. Sign. Like, I'm not upset or angry about it. I'm just. I guess I am upset. Like, hurt. I'm hurt from the place of feeling like there's no understanding between me and him. You know, like, especially having friends that I like this is something weird to say, but I genuinely feel there is more understanding on a spiritual level between myself and friends that I've met, a friend that is here with us right now as well, than I have of my own parents. And that it's not something that I like to admit either. The simulation. Where are you? I'm in South Africa, friend. I got to split. It's time for breakfast. I love you all. I love you. Eat red meat. Thank you, friend. Catch you later, red meat. Melt. I want you to know you changed my day. spurred me to offer a much needed apology. Thank you, friend. Thank you, Tate. Apologizing. Like, I've apologized maybe like 3 times to my dad as well. Even though I feel like I don't have anything I should be apologizing for, that is still something that I'll go out of my way to do just to try and fix this relationship, because I feel like every single time we have this conversation, we're just like going with sledgehammers at the relationship, the foundation of the relationship that we've been building. And I don't know how to stop that. Do you believe in Jesus as your Lord and Savior, as written up on the third day? No. I believe Jesus was a very enlightened man that had the same intentions that other beings of light has, to bring, love and light into the world, to leave the world a better place than he found it at the end of the day. And I think there was, just the whole system that kind of followed. The Bible before Jesus was like a dogma system that teaches life values, which is great, but you don't need that big of a book to tell people to stop being dicks to each other, And this is now me basically paraphrasing Bo Burnham, one of his like God's Perspective songs. Like, you don't need a book this thick to tell people stop being dicks to each other, right? Yeah, it's difficult, friend. I cooked you an English breakfast. Yes, Bruce! I want an English breakfast right now. Rena's here as well. I'm still working on that myself, seeking my own approval only. It's difficult, Aunt B. It is difficult, and I think it's especially difficult because approval from other beings feels good at the end of the day. And I think it's like probably has something to do with survival as well. If you weren't accepted and like approved of by your tribe members when we were still living in tribes of like 20 people, you would be shunned and then you would die, right? So quite literally, approval in some ways have been hardwired into our brain for us to for us to seek. But we're not just surviving anymore. And that's what I think. Maybe that's where the first realization needs to come from, Aunt B. Like, we're not surviving anymore. We get to live now. I agree. Hello, Melty. Hey, SDZ. It's nice to have you here, my friend. I would love to have a conversation with your dad, Estian. I believe he should hear how good your heart and intentions are. The thing is, Lisa, he's going to agree with you, and then he's going to be like, but there is more that he can do. He can do better. He's not doing good enough. I feel like not wanting to hear anything other than what we've been taught already is somewhat of a generational thing. Constantly more awareness. Yeah, I think you're very right about that as well, B. Constantly being told what we want to hear. It's something people become very conditioned to. And that's why, like you friends know, when there is a, and I put it in quotation mark, hater or a troll, I don't unless it's completely derogatory, of course. Like, if they're making valid criticisms, if they're saying something that's challenging in nature, I won't skip it because I don't want to be challenged. I love being challenged. Having myself challenged means that I can, form even more rigid understandings of the thing that I think I understand. So, like, I 100% welcome criticism. And I think that is not something that is necessarily normal, if you will. Not that I'm saying I'm something special, but it's not normal in the world for people to not only seek criticism, but actively, participate in the criticism of themselves. And another thing, to be honest, Estian, you are very Christian. You are a true humanitarian. Like, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that so much, Lisa. Like, I feel that way as well in a lot of ways, if you were to, like, in a checklist, like, check off the Christian ideals that I follow, I would check a lot of those Christian ideals, up to the point of, like, devoting my life completely to a deity. That's where I stop, because I'm not going to attach my own life value and my own salvation, if you will, based on something that's external from myself. This deity that lived thousands of years ago. I should, at least in my own opinion, come to the realization, come to the acceptance, come to the love, come to the salvation within my own nature, within my own understanding of my place in this whole, within my own journey and how I choose to interact with the whole. Not by, saying a couple of nice words and then things are just fixed. I can't think that's how it works. Please have words on inner peace. Oof, what a good question. Mr. Star, Mrs. Star, like I don't know if you're here anymore. It's been 11 minutes since you've asked your questions. Your question. Inner peace is something that is very difficult to attain and yet always there as well. Inner peace is the place from which you perceive everything, right? From this place of inner peace, from this knowing, you get to experience the things that are happening to you in your life. And it's when you become attached to these things that you experience. Like, a part of me is attached to my father's approval. And it's from that attachment to my father's approval in which I'm hurting myself. Again, it's a cactus that I'm holding on to. Instead of letting go of this approval cactus that I want from my dad, I can just kind of let go of that. And it's in that letting go of things that we become attached to that we find inner peace. When you doing a toe reveal, you want to see my toes? There you go, dude. Toes have been revealed just for you, friend, because this is the expression that you wanted. You are simply more of a Roseanne. Roseu. I don't know how to say that word, dude. Word's too difficult for me. Roussesseau. Roseu. Roseau? Rosio? I don't know. You're bamboozling me, friend. I can't totally relate with the lack of communication with parents. It's hard to push through their barrier, which is so well formed with the years. Yeah, that's what I feel as well. Default mode network. It's quite literally like in their own brains, they've been building, and cementing and building and cementing and building and cementing and building and cementing on this idea of this belief system, of this understanding that they formed of the world. And then when you come and you're like taking a sledgehammer to the thing that they've been building, like look at, but what is this bad piece of build work, and you kind of like pick at it and you break these bricks off, like, no, stop doing that. Right? That's like I'm literally visualizing what it must be like. Really seems like the biggest obstacle challenge in your life to let go and still love is with your father. Yeah, dude, like it's very difficult. Again, the letting go and also not wanting to just let go. Because I feel with myself as well, I have come to this understanding that the opposite of love isn't hate. The opposite of love is indifference. You know, and like I feel in a lot of ways I'm becoming indifferent to my dad, and I don't want that. That devastates me, friend. Big love from Costa Rica, brother. Your path is your path. Yes, it is. Thank you, friend. Each and every single one of us have our own path, and we're supposed to be on this path together. Brother, you look like handsome Shrek in a nice way. Yes! Yes, 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 yes. You're the first person, other than myself, that has ever seen that. Tomo. Yeah, dude, I love that so much. Because, like, when I watched that movie as a kid, I like, saw a handsome, like, male Shrek, and I was like, holy shit, that dude looks like me. And I kind of said that out loud as like a 12-year-old or something, and people are like, "The fuck are you on about, dude?" So now it feels like I've completely come to the completion of this little story. This whole time I've saw it as well, and now you've just like kind of confirmed one of my biases. Thank you, Tava. Good morning, Mel, Mr. B, Mrs. B, and friends. Hey, Gob Nugget, thank you for joining us, friend. How far are you with your painting, man? It should be damn near close. Electra Storm is here as well. I believe in Source, but that you are Source and I am Source and everyone else is Source. Yes, exactly, Electra Storm. Like, this is something that me and my dad like had a big fight about. He was like asking me, "Do you believe you are good?" He asked me, and I was like, "Yeah, I do." And then he's like, "Oh, so now you're being righteous?" And I was like, "No, I'm not being righteous." And he's like, "Only God is good," he says to me. And I said, "Okay, so if only God is good, and all the things that God have created is from that good nature, and I am part of that creation, then I am good. It's like, nope. No. Well, no. But I do believe, I do agree with you, Electrostorm. You share vast knowledge around these topics, but the way the universe puts the challenge directly to you is always sideways and difficult. I believe you'll figure out the answer without losing love for your father. Thank you so much, Simon. Like you're being, like you're asking some and saying some real things, dude, that are making me feel a significant amount of things right now as well. Damn. Thank you. Thank you so much, dude. Like this co-creation with you, I'm eternally grateful for it. Relationships. My relationship with the whole. My relationship with my father. My relationship with my mother. My relationship with my brothers. My relationship with my sister. My relationship with my friends. My relationship with you, friends. My relationship with the internet. My relationship with myself. The patterns, like every single time I say these things, I believe honestly that there's this whole like little mental firing of patterns in my brain. And I'm trying to focus on these things. I'm trying to ask myself how I feel about them, what I can do to make it even better, what I can do to be more true, authentic, pure self in these moments as well. And then at the same time, I also want to respect the relationship I have with myself and how far I've come already, you know. My dad was absent for most of my life, till I was 19 years old. Never do I blame him for many missed out years. Love your dad for who he is, and you will feel at peace. I do that at least, friend. I do love my dad, you know, regardless of the things that he believes. Like, that's not going to take any of the love I have for him away. The reason I am, you know, constantly going out of my way to listen to the things that he's going to tell me as well, even though I don't agree with it, I believe honestly comes from a pure place of love, right? Otherwise, I just completely shun him. And I feel like, again, that's what I was saying about the indifference thing. It's getting to the point where I'm doing that like less and less. Yeah, enough said. It's the unhappy evening to you. The sun is almost down for you, and it just came up for us. It's the cycle's being completed, tech guy. It's your turn, my friend. My day is over. I've done as much as I can to bring love and light into the world now. I'm still gonna be bringing a little bit more love and light for you, friends. But now it's your turn, friends. Now it's your turn. Go out into the world, make someone smile. If you have the opportunity to make someone happy, take it. Absolutely. Like, not even for a second should you doubt or think about, should I not? If you have the opportunity to make someone happy, take it. Koala Beer, thank you for the seal of approval, friend. Gold Rap is here as well. Oh, shibbit. No. Is it still going? I just closed out of the app. Damn. I think it might still be going. Oh, no, I have still so many comments left. Damn. I'm 13 minutes behind. I'm guessing we had a lot of friends in today. It has to be the Holy Spirit to change people. Of which we are all a part at the end of the day. So it's right here within us. It's not something we have to seek externally from us. Still, at the end of the A block rap. Your father wants to help you in this way as well. It is really ironic and painful. It is, friend. I think... Is the stream still working? Let me just check quickly. It might still be working. I hope so. I do hope so. Dad has the estate, so he wants you to play the game by his rules. Dude! That was actually something that he said today again. He was like, you're living in my house, and in my house, we worship Jesus Christ. Like, you're never going to convince someone of anything with that attitude as well. Especially not with that attitude. And he is right in a lot of ways, you know. He is right. I am living in his house, if you will, on his estate. But then I can be the, new age millennial. I didn't choose to be here. It was his choice to procreate and have me. I'm grateful to be here, is the thing as well. And I'm grateful that he has been my dad. Because at the end of the day, he has shaped the way that I've become as well. And because of his commitment to his religion and his surety and his confidence and his articulation with what he understands about what he understands, has, at the end of the day, shaped the way that I understand things, right? And has shaped the way that I articulate and shaped the amount of attention and persistence I kind of apply to the things that I believe. So I wouldn't change anything at the end of the day as well. I believe everything are exactly in the way that it's supposed to be, so that we can be in the way that we are. And then from this place that we are, we're going to continually create. And if we weren't here, we wouldn't be there as a result, right? So things are happening for a reason. I am very aware of that. How conservative is your family? I come from same part of SA than you, and I struggled with how conservative can be. Extremely conservative, friend. Very much conservative. Like, how do I explain how conservative? Like, conservative to the point where if people that aren't even their family members were to come to our house and they weren't married, even if they've been in a relationship for 10 years, they're not allowed to sleep in the same bed. That's how conservative it is, friend. You should rewatch your answer to my question about how important do you feel it is for your dad to understand your beliefs, and quite literally reverse the roles. You as your father saying that exact same thing. Now I'm playing it back in my head, dude. It's not gonna change anything for me. My life experience. I do understand what you're saying, dude. I do. Oh, Simon. I do understand. I do understand. The thing is, though, I feel this is where it's a little bit different. I've held both beliefs. I've held the belief of being a Christian, and now I'm holding the beliefs I hold now. So I feel like I've been in both camps. I used to be as passionate, as articulate, as forthcoming with Christianity as I am with what it is I'm talking about right now. And I believe a lot of these ideas you can basically root in Christianity as well, because at the end of the day, these are good life principles. They don't have to be Christian in nature. They're just good life principles. If you do these things, life is kind of better for everyone around, It's not rocket science. Please, 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 block rap. Please pray for me, friend. 100%. Like that. If someone says they'll pray for you, that is stonks. Because they're actually going to, as I do as well for you, friends, with intention, they're going to close their eyes. They're going to imagine you, maybe your name, maybe your face, and they're going to pray for you. Pray to source, pray to God, pray to their God, which is still God at the end of the day, to bless you, to help you, to lead you to truth. And please, friends, please, 100% encourage people to pray for you if they ever say that. Thank you, and I appreciate that as well. I hope that your ideas are seized in your father's mind, and time will allow them to grow into his ideas. I'm sending your father understanding vibes. Thank you so much, Yader. I appreciate that, friend. Rena says, today I was trying to connect with my mother while talking about herbs and teas and ways of preparation, but all of the ideas that made me happy, she gave a smirk look like I'm doing something wrong. So I said to her, stop talking to you. I don't want to get my happiness. I'll stop talking to you. I don't want to have my happiness crushed. And she didn't even blink. I'm trying to be extremely open with my parents, but the relationship still feels so closed up. I feel that in a lot of ways, Rena, I think it is, very rooted in our cultural belief to kind of hide, our own discomforts, especially as parents. Like there's this really weird relationship that parents kind of move into where they pretend like they're these ultimate authorities on things. Like and this is something I'm questioning in myself already as well, right? Like I'm trying to imagine myself as a father figure, and I was beaten a lot as a child, and I'm like thinking to myself, do I want to beat my children? Because I was beaten as a child. Because I do believe that I turned out kind of okay, and the beatings that I got because I was a very, very rough or excited or passionate individual as a child, and I would go to extremes as I tend to do still. And the beatings that I got probably shaped me in some way, but I don't think that's what I want to do with my children, and especially with what I mentioned about being authorities on everything. Because I'm questioning both, the perspective of telling your children that you don't know everything, and also expecting them to listen to you sometimes, right? Because I would love to encourage my children to find things for themselves, to explore things for themselves, to learn lessons for themselves instead of me just superimposing all of the lessons that I've learned. Because I do, like, obviously there's value in superimposing your lessons that you've learned as an adult onto your children, because that's how they're going to learn as well. But I feel like there's a point. There's a point at which you have to accept that your children are going to take their own paths. And I'm trying to already prepare myself for it. I'm from Canada, broski. Hey, Steven. I'm from South Africa, my dude. Thank you for joining us. Yes, indifference is so much worse than hate. Hate still has flaming passion, but indifference is just nothing. Like love is this complete fullness of something, and indifference is this complete lack of that. And you see, the weird thing that I'm kind of questioning in myself is indifference fear or judgment? Right? Because I always ask myself the question when I say something, when I feel something, am I saying these things from a place of judgment or fear of it? Or am I saying these things from a place of love or forgiveness of it? And I feel like indifference may lean into like the middle of fear. No, the middle of forgiveness and judgment, sorry. Or maybe fear. Man, like are you understanding the point I'm trying to make? Like the thing I'm trying to understand, topic I'm trying to wrap my head around. Woke up early to listen to your radiance. Happy solstice. You help raise my vibration. Thank you, Fred, for in turn raising my vibration. That makes me so happy to hear, friend. Love and light to you. Oh, the ace says, my best friend told me that you can take what you want from advice and leave the rest on the table. You take what you want now. You take what you want now, what you need. Yeah, that's very right, friend. I do like that as well. Because I believe there's so much to be learned just from immediate experience at the end of the day. Like the things we get to enjoy in life. And like we learn things, obviously. Like I feel we learn so many things. And my dad like is of this nature where he'll read the Bible when he feels things about life, right? And then he'll learn from this Bible the things that he's supposed to be learning. And that's he's been doing this for so long that he feels it's like an authority figure for him as well, right? And I understand how something like that happens. But I'm of the nature of when I feel things and when I'm trying to figure things out for myself, I'll sit down and meditate. I'll sit with myself and I'll question myself. And then I'll question the things I question. And I'll question the answers that I come up with. And I'll go through that and I'll ask myself, why am I feeling these things? Am I the problem? Right? And I don't think my dad ever asks himself that question. Maybe, am I the problem? I don't think he ever does. Genuinely, I don't think he ever does. And like I ask myself that question all the time because I've been so flawed in my life before I wouldn't be surprised if I'm doing something flawed right now. Right? So like that's why I'm always like, please friends, if you can introduce me, like that's why I just encourage you friends at the end of the day to co-create with me. Say things to me, like, right? Share with me what you feel about the things that I'm saying. Because in turn, I learn new perspectives. So instead of me just having my own individual perspective and maybe the perspective of, for instance, the Bible, now I have potentially thousands of different perspectives willing to be shared with me. And then as a result of that, I can imagine your perspective, in turn, creating an even new perspective. Right? I feel that's so powerful. I feel that is so, so powerful. And I appreciate you, friends, for doing this with me. Oh, Lavender Jones. Nice to see you today, Mel. Nice to see you too as well, my friend. Still working, still working. I'm so happy it's still working. Will Ferrell, you look great for 59. Thank you, friend. Thank you so much, dude. I've just got myself some really stonks gene editing. Sprinkled some stem cell research on it. You know, non-harmful stem cells. Stem cells harvested from my own body and then introduced into gene editing technology. And they like reversed my age by, how old you say I was? 59? Reversed my age by like 37 years, dude. Stonks. Yeah, stonks. Hey, it's one of the more exciting simulations. Have you ever had an out-of-body experience? Yeah, plenty, dude. Plenty. But I was like thinking about the traditional definition of an out-of-body experience. Will you grow your hair out? I'll think about it, dude. I'll think about growing my hair. I think you should embrace yourself without substances. I do, friend, and I have for most of my life. I've only been partaking of substances for maybe like 3 years of my entire life as a 23-year-old being. So, and there was a hiatus, all right, a break of like a year and 4 months since I started to take substances, if you will. I'm very familiar with myself, friend, in both states. And if you can't be familiar and understanding and embracing of yourself with substances, you won't be able to do it without substances either. Maybe God created substances to allow us to enhance ourselves. There you go, friend. Perspective. Right? You just need some more perspective. That's what we all can use. We can all just use more perspective. I wish I could better understand your perspective on maintaining a relationship with parents. I haven't been speaking to my family for years. I'm the black sheep, unfortunately, surrounded by racists. They call themselves Christians, but if you aren't white, yeah, they'll have nothing but bad words for you. That's actually something that I mentioned as well in like this documentary that my dad showed me today. Like at the end of it, I like said something that might not have been, upbuilding, if you will, but I was like, I just kind of, or I said I would have taken this a lot more seriously if they actually showed like more realistic pictures of Jesus, because they were constantly like flashing these Jesus pictures of like this white Jesus, white Jesus, blue-eyed, beautiful, like straight hair, and I'm like, oh, and that's probably not what Jesus looked like, just to be clear, and like especially when they're like touting to be these authorities on like, oh yeah, this is how it worked and this is how things happen and then they show these pictures and I'm like, but you're right, tech guy. Like that's something that bothers me as well, and I don't know how to explain that hypocrisy, that irony to them either. It's like holding a belief that you believe in this God that is all loving of all things, and then you can also at the same time not be all loving of all things. It's Father's Day. Let's see your dad. If he shows back up, you're probably gonna hear him in a tractor before he shows back up. I'll show you my dad. I'll show you my dad if he comes. I'm gonna probably do the slap the hand thing with my kids because it's quick and easy to learn from. You slap their hands, like actually slap their hands, dude. It's like, and that's the thing as well with parenting. Hot diggity dab, dude. How do you tell someone else to parent their children? Like all we can really do is learn from our own experiences, right? how we were parented, and then ask ourselves, would we want the same things to happen to us? Relationship. How would you tell? Mm, how would you feel if someone 3x your size came up to you and slapped the shit out of you? Pretty traumatizing, right? Exactly. Exactly. Like probably more than 3 times my size. Like the most painful beating I got in my entire life, I got when I was 14. It was because of a grade. Got the shit beaten out of me. Not, I mean, like I got hit with a belt, but I had bruises on my body for weeks. So, like, and I mean, I didn't fail like my freaking subject again, so I guess it worked. But I don't want to do that to my kids. That's just fucked, yeah. I'm sorry for my profanity. I'm sorry. No child deserves physical violence against them, no matter how they're acting. Exactly. That's how I feel as well, dude. That's how I feel. Lady Morai, we're talking about some gut wrenching stuff today, friend. Thank you for joining us. What do you think about beating your children, Lady Morai? Disciplining children. It's a difficult question because I haven't even asked you. Do you want kids, Lady Morai? A child's only job is to take, and the parent's job is to give. Like taking care of a child until they're like self-sufficient and they can go into the world and take care of themselves is the bare minimum that you should expect to do when you have kids. Right? That's not too much to ask. Take care of the kids that you have? Really? That's the least we expect. Just take care of them? Really? Right? Remember, kids, stay in school and don't do drugs. I do agree exactly with what you're saying, friend. Physical violence against children presents pure selfishness from the adult. Yeah. Yeah, it really is. There's no excuse for it. I don't believe that because the underlines, here we have another opinion, another perspective, another opportunity to feel something else. Simon's words, let's hear. I don't believe that because the underlines of our entire society is violence. The friend's name he's talking to. Laws and rules are literally the threat of violence. You can't hide the reality from your children. Better they're tough and attuned to it, IMO. So I agree somewhat with what you're saying, Simon, but I don't want to be the one that is going to inflict that violence upon my child. It's one thing for them to understand there might be violence in the world, but it's a different thing for them to expect that violence from you firstly in the world. So I think a good way to kind of find a balancing point is to introduce your children to like maybe some physical sports, right? Some taekwondo, some wrestling maybe a little bit better, so they can learn, the perspective of violence in nature and like how to attune to that, if you will. But I don't want to be the one that inflicts this violence upon them. Where can I buy your book? You'll probably be able to buy it online, friend, but it's still in development, if you will. I want to bring it out like maybe in 2022. We'll see if we get there. The world is terrible and violent, and if the children can find a safe place with their family, then they will never feel secure taking in the horrors of the real world. Yeah, I do agree with your sentiment, friend. It's lazy parenting. Try talking about life with them with patience and understanding. I like the duality of this conversation. Like, I feel, Simon, in a way that you would agree with what I said about the physical sports thing instead of having to do it yourself. But I'm getting to your answer, not to that. Trying to switch physical violence to emotional discipline, I do not believe is any better. Physical slaps is fleeting. Fear of loss and punishment, I believe, lingers longer than emotional discipline. So, what a good point, Simon. That is such a good point. Like, if I am like, okay, so I think again, it's going to be the adult that is going to be the responsible one for that. Because if you're going to discipline emotionally and with words in a way that like stimulates trauma within your child, like fears of abandonment, for example, like people would do that, right? Oh, if you don't do this thing, I'm going to leave you behind, right? Like that is a whole nother thing as well, dude. So man, it's difficult, dude. What a difficult question to actually answer. And there's like thousands of books written on it as well. Right? You shouldn't emotionally abuse your children either, exactly. It's not lazy parenting either, because for one, you can only shelter your kids from that if you're born in 20% of the world. Being sheltered will be a future culture shock for our kids. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Mm. Like, I mean, in a lot of ways, like I had a lot of culture shock when I went to China. Things were so drastically different. Not only because, like, this is why. If I feel the most culture shock I really had was with watching the way that parents treated their kids again. Just watching like the lives their kids were living, because technically they were sheltered. They had a place to live, they had some toys, they had educations, right? But but that being said, I was literally at 8 at night sometimes, for some classes, not every single night, only 8 at night, but for some classes, having kids 6-year old having classes at 8 at night. You know why? Because that's the only gap they have. That's the only spot they have. They have piano, and then they have taekwondo, and then they have swimming lessons, and then this, and then that, and then only by 8 o'clock at night do they get the chance to learn English. 8 o'clock at night was bedtime for me as a child growing up. Bedtime after I got to play in the dirt the entire day. Like, I used to be a really quote unquote dirty kid because I would just be in the mud, exploring just life, right? Experiencing it as a child, as they're supposed to. And like, we were literally training the childlike behavior out of these kids so that they would conform to the rigid structure of teaching them English, right? You sit still, be quiet, don't talk to the friend next to you, only pay attention to this teacher. Pay attention to this teacher for an hour as a 6-year old. So as a result of that, I need to like keep it entertaining. I need to be a big monkey, which I'm good at doing. I'm a good monkey, and I can like draw little cute pictures for them when they behave in class. But I was like looking at myself from, sure, you're being humiliated by yourself by acting in this way, while at the same time using that as a mechanism to subdue the childlike nature of these kids. And that shit was traumatizing. Oh, shit. Man, I don't think I've ever said that. I don't think I've ever said that. Shit. I'm so sorry. I can fortunately say they did love me, and I love them as well so much. I still do. I did make at least it a little bit more bearable. I gave them an opportunity at some points in class to just escape a little bit from this constant grind. I sang with them. I would make them fly. I would tickle them. I would laugh with them. I would ask them questions. I would smile at them as well. I would just give them some proper human interaction. That, like, that was the culture shock for me, dude. Oh. You can treat your children with respect without sheltering them. It's a difficult one as well, though. Hey, Katie, there's a lot up, friend. Man, we had a lot of ups and downs today. Giving your kid a timeout, telling them to think of their own punishment is emotional discipline. I like that one, actually. Think of your own punishment. What do you think would be an appropriate punishment for the thing that you did that was not acceptable, right? Because then you're teaching them this capacity to judge themselves appropriately, even though I don't think just constant self-judgment is a good thing, but then how to kind of rectify, be it in a superficial way as a child, but being able to do that or have that problem-solving skill as an adult could be very beneficial to a child as well. Giving your kid most people don't look within, Estian. They tend to project instead. One is a growth mindset and one is not. Be happy you are the growth mindset group. Dude, you're so flattering me, man. Like I can't feel like I'm taking any credit for this, dude. Like so many things had to happen in so many ways for me to turn out the way that I turned out, that it's not me, dude. It's not me. It's the whole. Christians feel they have inside knowledge about life after death because Jesus came back after dying. Christians sleep better because they think they have an insurance policy to get into heaven. Yeah, that's quite literally what it is. It's an insurance policy that rides on you saying a bunch of words. Right? I accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. It's like it's the ticket to heaven, basically. Like that's what the Christians believe, genuinely. And I can't believe that it's that easy. If I live my entire life, raping and plundering, and I say those words at the end of my life, technically, according to the Bible, you still earn, heaven because you've accepted Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, and then He forgives you of all your sins. I don't feel that's true, and I hope for all of the Christians that believe that and do things maybe not as extreme, but being racist, for example, right? Hating people for the color of their skin, and then still saying that at the end of their lives, and then being like, okay, where's my heaven now? Right? I don't think that's how it works, but I do hope for their part it does work that way. You're only adding to the violence in the world when you lay hands on your children, and you only teach them that they can't rely on their family for support. Yeah, so I feel again, I don't want to beat my kids. Obviously, we've come to that point. I want to, and I think I'm taking some from you now as well. Make sure they're understanding of the consequences of life by letting them choose their own punishments. When you make it clear to them the things they're doing isn't acceptable. First and foremost, you should only start disciplining your kid really once he has some sort of understanding of the world. Because if you're going to be beating your child before they even have the capacity to communicate, yeah, that's a whole nother thing. Would you and your dad ever share? No, goodness. Why would you ever say something like that, you sledgehammer? That's horrible, dude. What you smoking on right now? I'm smoking on some purple bud and iced cabbage, friend. I did a little bit of mix. You're not adding to the violence of the world. The violence is already there. You're learning how it toughens up better from people you love than strangers in the street. Oh, you see, I unfortunately, I feel a little bit of resistance to that specific point, Simon, especially because of the strangers versus the people that you love thing. I would not want my children to associate the first act of violence that they ever experienced in the entire world to experience that from a person that they love. Right? That's my mindset of it. I'm thinking of a shaping perspective, enhancing experience. So I'm divine eye witnessing life. I witness these beings that take care of me, that feed me, clothe me, keep me safe. And then I witness this being beat me because I did something that it doesn't approve of. That's that's how I'm imagining it, because I'm trying to dumb down my faculties to that's how much I know about the world. Oh, we have Jojo. Hey, Meld, have a puff of me, mate. I'm going on a break. Did I do the accent kind of good? Oh, I'm happy that you're going on a break, Toriel. I've been thinking that I should probably go on a little bit of a break myself. A little bit of a tolerance or a THC break. Will be good. Not because the weed isn't working, because I feel the weed doesn't do anything. Whatever I write on these little pieces of paper is what's actually doing something to me. Right? Because instead of thinking oh, I'm going to smoke this weed, I'm going to get a little bit more high, I'm taking a puff of something that I'm calling relationship in my own brain. Relationships. That is where I feel the thing comes from, at least. Getting a slap on the back of the hand is all you need. You see, then it's also not going to be something that's traumatizing in nature. Because you can just be oh, this is an uncomfortable thing you've done to my hand. And again, maybe it's external from you. I don't know, dude. It's so difficult to me to really like form a very rigid opinion on it. I was physically abused as a child, and I have complex PTSD from that. So anyone who thinks that beating kids will do good should not have kids. That's a very strong and beautiful point as well, Electrostorm, which I do agree with. If you think like, and again, I don't think Simon believes you have to beat your kids in order to discipline them. I mean, like a slap on the hand is different than being physically abused. Like, I mean, maybe it's slight amount of physical abuse, and I don't. I'm not trying to dismiss or make little the stuff that you've been through, Electrostorm, my friend. I'm 100% here with you, and I respect the journey that you've been through and the things that you've experienced in your life. But I do agree that if you think the only way to discipline your kids is through like beating them, like then you shouldn't have kids. I helped raise a boy who was never hit. It's possible. There we go, Nancy. Thank you so much for letting us know that, friend. We needed your influence, your experience, your co-creation. Will Ferrell, Eurovision, maybe somewhere in the middle, dude. Meltmore, actually. But why does it have to be any slap at all? Wouldn't it be more beneficial for all to teach by understanding with words and critical thinking? I know you're thinking or talking kids, but they need to start learning at some point. I think you would agree with what I said about you need to reach a point where they have some sort of reasoning before you start disciplining them. Hey Mel, hey Kaval, it's nice to have you here, my friend. Man, me and Kaval had a little bit of a moment in his stream as well. Share some poetry, dude. Your poetry is so real, like it makes me blush, dude. I'm like, you know the one, dude. You know the one about the you say something, but also with my words. Yeah, dude. I was like, damn, Kaval, so passionate, so expressive, so extra, dude. I loved it, man. I only joining this conversation. I believe the only reason a child should be punished physically is if they attack a person physically. I have hit kids who hit or bite me, but it is retaliation. You do not continue hitting or overpowering the child. Yeah, ooh, that's a real one as well because I wasn't even thinking about a child physically harming me because I think of myself as like I've never like well I mean kids have like given me some hectic like nut shots as like when I was teaching, but it's usually like an accident. They're like not paying attention and swinging their arms or like running around and then looking to the side of them because they're looking at another kid and then running into me. So like on that level I don't feel like I can retaliate because I'm like it's just a kid being a kid. But if they're like going out of their way to harm you first, like damn, how do you defend yourself? Like I'd probably just keep them at arm's length. Like no, 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 none of that. Thank you for to the stars, friend. Violence should never be the answer. Critical discipline should always be the way to go. But people don't know how to use it properly. Yeah, like critical thinking is kind of computationally expensive. Are you in Kreersdorp? Nee, ek is nie, my friend. I'm disgusted by anyone who defends beating children. I agree with you, Electrostorm. None of us are defending the beating of children. We're just sharing like potential understandings of discipline. Like it's more a discussion than it is an absolute of how we're supposed to raise children. Those are called katlachters, like laughers of cats. They laugh at cats, basically. That's the birds that laugh at cats would be the way that you would say it in English. Because of that sound that they make. It sounds like they're laughing. Avery, happy Sunday and happy Father's Day to all dads out there. Enjoy your special day. Enjoy your special day as well, my friend. Thank you so much for sharing your love with us. I believe strongly in treating kids as small adults with emotional regulation issues. You must be understanding. Show them you trust them to think and decide independently. I agree completely with that. And I'm so happy you bring that up because I didn't have the articulation to say it in quite such beautiful words. But that's also something that I try to do for these children. I gave them so much choice, Whoa, there's a spider on me that looks really funky. It's like orange. I don't want to kill it, but I do not want it on me. And it doesn't have a really good time of holding on to things, because I keep trying to pick it up to show you friends, but then he kind of like topples over. He's kind of lopsided, but he's now in the grass. Anyway, like I try to give them so much opportunity to choose. You know, be it choose their reward, be it choose the little picture that I drew them, be it choose the game that they wanted to play, be it choose the music that they wanted to listen to and sing to. Like I try to give them so much choice because I feel like they didn't have a choice in being there. I believe violence isn't the way to discipline kids because it creates a negative pattern of learning. Yep, the kid is going to learn to resolve conflict using pain. The answer to all conflict will be violence. It's not sheltering to not hit children. Yeah, that's a very good point as well, Kaval. Thank you for bringing it up, because then you're like basically reinforcing this understanding within the child of like, okay, like if things are wrong or if things are being done that's wrong, the way to resolve that is violence, right? Because that's how things are resolved for me. And it worked for me, so it's going to work for this other person. Sometimes if you act in violence towards someone, you're trying to stop doing something. For example, someone says, you know, free rights over your own body in front of an abortion clinic, and another person is like, how dare you say that, and tackles them to the ground, because the only way they understand to solve a problem instead of communicating about it is to inflict violence. And that is, as you said, it's a negative, like what did you exactly say? It is a negative pattern of learning. There we go. You're going to constantly reinforce this negative pattern of learning, and we should stop at some point. I grew up with no abuse at all, but definitely Southern parenting. It is something I would not do with my own children ever. Like, I'm not sure exactly what you mean. Do you mean the Southern parenting, Lady Moirai? Because I do not know what that means, unfortunately. Dude looks like a modded version of Weird Al. That's hilarious, dude. What would they mod, though? What would they mod? Like, now you have to give me the specs, dude. How do we mod Weird Al to the point where he looks like me? Is there anything that isn't abused in China? That's a little bit hectic, little bear. A little bear. Hitting just trains children into hitting. They will continue that pattern. They will not use words anymore, limiting thoughts and actions and behaviors. Exactly. And I believe, quite literally, when you're like hitting someone as a result of like what they're doing, you're kind of living from either your security, your emotional outrage, or your willpower to overpower, instead of living from the heart, the communication, or the intuition and understanding. Right? Right? So we want to elevate humanity, not downgrade it. Spanking, I do not agree with. There is no benefits for the child. It just makes the parent feel that they did something. Yeah, exactly. It's like more about the parent than it is about the child. Because if you're like properly going to discipline that child for the thing that they did, it's going to be significantly like stretched out in nature. It's not going to be like a thing that you do and then it's now resolved. It's going to be, you're going to have to be more like aware, more influencing, more, what's the word I'm looking for? The exact word I'm looking for. Present, proactive, involved. You're going to have to get more involved, and that's again computationally expensive. Chinese culture is hardcore. No wonder, as a society, they are so depressed. Unfortunately, also the truth, Kaval. Thank you for the hugs, my dear friend. You good, bro? I'm doing good. I'm getting kind of cold, and the colder I get, the faster that I talk sometimes. And like technically, we're over the time we usually stream, but you know what? We're like going for a 2 or like maybe even a 3 hour stream or something. I'm just sitting. I'm gonna be chill, beating hard. Thank you, friend. I appreciate that so much. I wish I could just hug you, man. We'll have a chance to hug each other, Kaval. And I can already imagine it. It's not gonna be like me and you gonna be like, oh, hey, Kaval, and then leave each other. No, we're gonna be like, oh, all squeezing each other and being like, hey dude, it's been so long. I can see it in my mind's eye, man. It's gonna be there. Meld, what's up? I was in deep dark place, but I'm back now. Impossible night. Impossible night. Your darkness was impossibly dark, my friend. I can't believe it. And I'm so happy that you're back. Do you want to talk about it? We've been through a little bit of a dark period today as well. It was nice exploring it a little bit, talking about these things. They're like robots? They're like robots? You good, bro? They're like robots? Oh, I don't know, friend. I don't know if they're like robots. How do I do something like this? I would love to talk and smoke on live with Reddit. So, additional plant. There's like a little X button here. You just click that little button, and then kunk, you'll have like a chance to choose from a subreddit you can stream to, and then you can go live. Yeah, you can share your divine experience with us. Anyway, to conclude, how you physically discipline your kids matter as much as emotionally disciplining them. Hitting your kids with a belt, that's bad. Shaming your kids for failure, also bad. How you do it matters. A slap on the back of the hand. The slap on the back of the hand, I believe, is the most efficient, because it can be followed up with love and hugs, because that's literally life. It's also true, dude. But now, like, since I understand some things about the way that, dogs interact or respond to having both love and physical violence forced upon them, it kind of formed like an attachment to the humans. And I think it might be the same case with your children as well, if you're reinforcing this idea of after they get punished or after they get physically harmed or hurt, be it emotionally, there's always going to be that love for them. And I like, to some extent, that is something that should be expected of parents, obviously, to be there in love when their kids get hurt. But it shouldn't be obsessive. It shouldn't be like a feedback loop. You shouldn't be the one influencing the pain whilst also being the one that is giving the love in the same instance or the same few instances. Like if your child runs around, not listening to you, and then falls kind of like on his face and like gets super hurt and cries and runs up to you and wants like a hug from you, and you just shun them like, oh no, you didn't listen to me. Like in that case, like be there, like hug him, like, oh, is it gonna be okay, little buddy. Exactly. But if you're like or like and like, oh, then I feel it's a little bit like brain messy, if you will. Are you okay? I'm good, Fred. I'm just cold. I'm getting cold now. Shantai! I want to call my sister to bring me a blanket. I'm gonna have to go get myself a blanket, but I don't want to leave you friends for like a minute or something. It's a get out of jail free card, pretty much, not just for Christians. Hey there, Mel. Hey, Scarmelia. It's nice to have you here, friend. Oh, Scarmelia ended up giving her boyfriend Mort the Tort and the letter that she wrote to him as well. And they had a moment. Thank you, my friend, for sharing that with us as well. I hear the tractor that is back. I don't think he is. He might have just passed by, but I don't think he's back completely. I would have heard the gate open. A slap. Okay, I've heard that one. Sorry. The entire Abrahamic trilogy is a broken system. We are on the cusp of change. We are in a time of great upheaval. Yes, we are. Yes, we are, Kaval. And in that way, me and my friends talk about the point of the spear. Right? In this time of upheaval, you can kind of think of it as this spear being forced through all of the darkness, trying to reach the light. And the tip of the spear is the one that gets the most friction, the one that sees the most hectic side of it, right? And it's almost this choice that me and my friends have also taken up, to be that tip of the spear, to be that, first one in charge of taking the brunt of nature, taking the brunt of human experience, and talking about the things that are important to us at the end of the day. Just did a cleaning stream. Scarlett and Amelia did the living room and I did the kitchen. So nice to have little helpers around as well, isn't it? We all have a ticket to ride, if it exists. There's no reason for us all to be born on the busted ass planet and experience to live a good life. My friend, like if you were born with all of your senses and all of your limbs, life's freaking good, dude. Life is really freaking good. If you've eaten like a single piece of fruit, right? If you've taken a single sip of water, life is freaking good, man. Like it's when you become like really attached to life being in a certain way that you suffer at the end of the day. Wow, that rhymed. I'm a poet. I won't. I'm sorry. Whoa, so intense to see the picture of melt warming the hearts of Chinese children. Rena, thank you so much, my friend. Like I did as much melting of the Chinese little hearts as I could. And we must stay strong and have faith in the freedom of the soul. Isn't it worse if my loved ones beat me? Holy shit, that's such a bad take. Yes, my father beating me is so good. I'm sorry. What a Father's Day stream. Phew, dude, it's like I feel it's very much a Father's Day stream, especially for our fathers in chat, our potential fathers in chat. Talking about some real stuff. This is the stuff we're supposed to be talking about. And like maybe the things that I went through with my dad today was supposed to happen, and I was supposed to feel as hurt as I was feeling to get to this point where we can share these ideas that we're sharing right now. If I didn't go through what I went through with my dad today, would I be in the way where I am right now? I don't think so. So, like, man, it's difficult to say things are bad or things are good at the end of the day, especially when you look at it in that way. Nice seeing you, my friend. Best vibes, illusionist. It's nice to see you as well, my friend. You've been camouflaging yourself this whole time, master illusionist, if you will, and I haven't been seeing you as well. It's called breaking the fight or flight. Yeah, not living from that little piece in your brain, dude. Because, like, I forgot what it's called now. If Jovan was here, she would have been able to correct us. Amygdala? I think it's the amygdala. The amygdala is responsible for the fight or flight response, right? And what they found is when your ideas are challenged, that little amygdala fires up and it starts becoming active. So, quite literally, you feel like the feelings of fight or flight when someone challenges your ideas. And by breaking out of that pattern, by like ignoring your brain chemistry in that way, like this thing that's happening in your brain, like you're witnessing it, and instead of being like, or like, you're like, wait a second, there's this third thing that I can do. I can calm down, I can become aware, and I can listen to what this person is saying to me. Instead of trying to fight them and what they're saying to me, instead of trying to run away from them because what they're saying of me, I'm just gonna kind of chill out and listen and see what I feel about what is being said. It's easier said than done sometimes. I'm sorry, Simon, I'm not judging you. Just the perspective. It's just the people who will always hurt you the most will always be the people who love you the most, though. That is also so true. That is also so true, especially because we have in our natures as well this propensity to lash out to the people that are closest to us because we feel comfortable enough to do something like that and not feel like we're going to instantly lose them. Like you can't lash out and kind of lose your shit with someone normally in life because they will just kind of like, you know what, I'm never hanging out with you again. But if you do something like that with your brother or with your significant other that you've been with for a long time or with your parents, like it's something that you feel more secure in almost in doing, in lashing out. So yeah, you are right, Simon. That's the thing. Ouch, it hurts me to even think about it. For breaks, apparently, yeah. Insurance policy and tickets to heaven. Keep dreaming. And there's no such thing, exactly. It's an active pursuit, I feel, if anything. I don't consider a slap on the back of the hand as a father beating me. I don't think so either. I don't think so either. Like, I do understand where you're coming from, Simon. Some people have to grow up faster. I was fine with my dad beating me. It showed me that everyone hates me. You see, everyone doesn't hate you. John Ghost. I love you, friend. And you know why I can say I love you? And I genuinely say it with 100% honesty? Is because I believe Just like bear with me. As soon as both of us opened our eyes for the first time as babies, the exact same eye consciousness that we experience all of our lives around is the exact same. Like that, and I don't know, I like repeated myself, but it's the exact same thing, right? That eye consciousness is indistinguishable from each other. It's like one thing. And then as we grow up into our bodies, into our lives, into our experiences, into our dads beating us, and then us thinking like everybody hates us, like we attach these things to ourselves. But the self that we are is the self that we should love. And I love myself, which I know is the same self that you are. So I love you, John. I love you, my dude. You're not hated by everyone. You can't say that anymore. I've just debunked you, dude. I'm raising 3 kids I've never hit, and they're highly secure and performing well by all standards. Stonks, dude. That sounds good to me. I believe that. Eurovision for sure. I wouldn't hit, rather hold my kids in their extreme moments. Yeah, just like maybe restrain instead of like beating. I think that's better as well, right? Like if your kid is like losing his shit and like breaking stuff, for example, instead of beating them, you just kind of hold on to them and being like, this is not okay. I still love you. I'm just gonna stop you from doing this until they calm down. Right? Isn't that much better? Consumption is key. What are you talking about, dude? Consumption definitely isn't key. I felt relief when my mom died, and then I cut off my dad. I never want my children to feel that way about me. Ooh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Bored? Bertine? Bordalbatine? Ilbatine? Ilbatine? Bored Ilbatine? Ilbatine. Like I won't say anything about how you're supposed to live your life. Do you think there's any way, let me rather ask you a question than saying anything to you. Do you think there's any way in which you can see the relationship between you and your father consolidating again, if you will? Or introducing your kids to their grandfather? Like that's a difficult question. I'm sorry, friend. And like your significant other, does your kids get to meet their other grandparents? Do you ever set an intention before a conversation with your father? Not maybe directly, not as directly as I do normally, Yater. And now you've just kind of enlightened me to that as well, friend. I'll try that next time. Pain as a trigger will create negativity no matter how bad. Like, okay, let me give as an example of a cat. If your cat bites you and you swat it, that's a pattern that will stay. So it shall then be stuck in that stage. Vibrate, primate. My poetry is made for us to feel this, and I'm so glad you were able to. Thank you, friend. Yeah, vibrate, primate, dude. It's a real one, man. The thing is, any kind of physical punishment is not consistent. Only the parent is the source. If the child is not with the parent, the punishment does not exist. Leads kid to hate the source. Ooh. That's a very good point as well. And like I can also counter argue, or not counter argue, just add to what you were saying, Lady Murai. It also leads to when there is the lack of that source, the punishment doesn't exist anymore, then there's even more rebellious, even more heinous crimes, if you will, coming from that place, because now this punishment isn't a looming threat instantly. So, like, in my own opinion, I'm thinking about like the time me and my brother went and broke those windows. Like, if me and my brother, just with our normal life experience, without having been punished before in our lives, went to that same place, would we have done the same thing? Or did we do that because we felt some sort of freedom from punishment? We felt some sort of alleviation from the responsibility of worrying about stuff like that. And because of that alleviation, we acted in a way that wouldn't be indicative of our normal nature. I'm curious. I'm so cold. My fingers are freezing. I'm 30 and my mom still beats me for being an abject failure. Dude, here you are. You can type, you can read, you can use a smartphone, you have hands, you have a face, you have a an orifice to eat with and to communicate with. You have things that can hear and smell and see. Damn, dude, you're doing pretty well, man. That sounds like stonks, dude. Sounds like freaking stonks. What would hurt you more? Feeling your disappointment for your parents or a slap on the wrist? I know what would absolutely crush me more. Exactly, dude. Disappointment is a big thing with me as well. Like, I rarely get angry, but I've been disappointed a lot in my life, dude. Good seeing you, bud. Have a good evening. I'm gonna take a toke of some wedding cake. We've heard so many friends been taking tokes of wedding cake. You hear that? That is a tractor. I did promise you, friends, that I'll call my dad. Maybe this is why the stream had to go on for longer as well. With a suitable punishment for children, be simply withholding vibes. Yo, dude, because you can. That would be, I think. Ooh, man, that's a hard one. I feel that would be more harmful than not as well. Vibe check failed. Yeah, dude. Literally, you're like, bruh, you just failed the vibe check. Cuts all vibes, dude, for 20 minutes. 33 minutes and 33 seconds. Vibes have been cut from you, dude. Oh, you want to look at me and smile? No, dude. Ain't receiving no vibes from me. Thank you for the silver, my friend. Time's out talking. Time's out and talking to them, and they said or did wrong. Let them think about it and sit down and talk to your kids with words, not actions. Yeah, I feel so as well, Avery. Anyway, a balance is always the answer. I don't believe in the extreme of any way or the other. What works for one kid won't work for all children. If you have two kids and they have completely different styles of learning, some kids touch a stove. You're right, dude. Like, and I feel me and my siblings are significantly different as well in nature. So, like, I should probably ask my dad a question. I'm 19 minutes behind comments. How am I this far? I've been streaming for like 30 minutes longer than usual and I'm still 20 freaking minutes behind comments. I'm sorry, friends. I'm coming. I'm trying desperately. Oh, it's insane. I'm gonna do some speedruns. It's insane. Disappointment will teach me not to do it again. Pain. I will just avoid pain. Just nothing to do with my love for my parents or for the right thing. I hear what you're saying as well, Kaval. Times out don't work. When my parents are dock workers, we had it tough. I hear what you're saying, John. In India, most parents beat children. In South Africa as well, friend. You catch most bees with honey than vinegar. Yeah, exactly. You can like there's the fly one. It's a little bit more hectic, but you are right. And so many adults will react violently to every conflict. Yep. That doesn't make sense at all because you yourself were disciplined, Meltmore, and you never concluded to solve all of your problems by hitting kids. You learned that you want to love instead of inflicting violence, lol. Yeah, exactly, dude. So I believe that the reason I grew up in the way that I did is to be in the way that I am right now. And if, for instance, I didn't get beaten as a kid, then I wouldn't have been like reaching the point that I was reaching and the conclusions that I've made. Papa! Dis Vadersdag en die mense wil sien hoe my vader lyk. Ek kan gaan skoonmaak, ek gaan nog 'n bietjie stream. Maar dit is like, I just got off the tractor. Op hoef jy skaam te wees nie, maar as op 'n wil. Die mense wil sien. And so many adults will still, okay, I've read that, I'm sorry. They have no idea how to use words to resolve conflict. A compliment, yes, of course. Do they laugh at cats because cats can't hunt them? Pretty much, man, I'm so far behind. Words are more difficult to resolve conflict, aka it's easier to make a mistake. The only time, that's also true, Simon, the only time I was ever happy was when my dad took me to a monster truck rally. He was arrested on the way home for a DUI. Like, I'm feeling this is almost too orchestrated, John. I've said my bit, friend. You are loved. Forever and always. It's insane, so we must beat people because it's easier. You must see how violence becomes epidemic probably. My uncle had to come and pick me up. I'm sorry, John. No, because it's less emotionally damaging to both parties. Also true. As an evolving society, the goal should be to eradicate violence, not to continue it. So I'm gonna just skip down the comments a little bit. Ek is bietjie agter. So of ek 'n bietjie nader kom vir die lig.
Toe maar lekker my sien also.
Yeah. This is my father. We've basically been talking this whole time about ways of disciplining our kids. And the consensus is that beating kids is not the way forward.
Also not dogs.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like this. What do you want to share some more?
The consensus.
Yeah, like basically we're talking about the fact that I as a child grew up being beat as well. And it kind of influenced the way that I am right now. So in a way, I can't exactly say that it's 100% bad, because obviously when I did bad things, I got punished for it and I learned from that. But going forward, is that the only way to continue doing it?
No, there's a difference between spanking somebody out of love to teach and beating a child. So I'm absolutely against beating a child. That's just wrong. But spanking, disciplining a child, I have to believe one or two things. I can believe the world or I can believe the word of God. It says, do not spare the rod because you will spoil the child. So that's in short what I have to say about that.
Ja,
Okay,
dankjewel pa.
here's my boy.
Die mense sê hallo papa.
Hallo.
Die comments kom nou deur. I should probably scroll up a little bit to catch your friends' comments, but damn. How far is that? I'm still scrolling up. Oh goodness, I'll get to the comments, Fred. I'll stream for maybe another hour even. Like I'm vibing. I'm straight vibing. Really straight vibing. Have to people beat because it's easier. I've already read that one. We're an evolving society. Eradicate violence. Southern parenting, meaning spanking, belt, paddle. You do something wrong at school and you are scared all day. They'll find out at home. Oh yeah, that's how I grew up as well. I guess I also grew up with some southern parenting, if you will, Lady Moirai. Violence isn't less damaging. It is more, much more. There we go. Eradicate violence in society is a myth you get to have because you live in a first world country. Dude, Kaval lives in India, man. Yeah. Are you saying this? And your country is likely murdering people in another country for your freedom. Third world country as it gets. I'm not letting go. Yeah, I feel you, bad. Go pick a switch. I'd pick a small one, and my dad would tell me I made a huge mistake. I did. Oh, yeah, sure, dude. The Rick and Morty references now. Ooh! Rick and Morty season 5 is coming out tonight. It's only gonna be like my tomorrow. It's gonna be like early morning hours for me. Do I want to? Like, no, I'm not gonna stay up. Do I want to wake up at like 3 a.m. to watch Rick and Morty though? I think that's a little bit much. If we don't teach violence to children in order for them to be prepared for the violence in the world, maybe we wouldn't have that much violence in the world in the first place. That's what I'm thinking as well, Rena. I'm gonna do an MMA takedown too. Oh, melt, out of love, not violence. Only out of love, friend. So what are y'all going to do now that the pandemic is over? I'm gonna continue doing this, friend, forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever, because this has been the most pure of an expression I've had in my entire life. And if I did anything other than this, I'd be betraying my own soul. Like, I'm obviously gonna do significantly more things on top of having this with you friends, but this is gonna stay. It's gonna stay forever. Stays forever. Stay forever with me, friends. India literally has people beat child abusers on the street, while America would protect them. I mean, MMA is insane. First thing we learn is that violence should be avoided at all costs. MMA, mixed martial arts. Yep. I think so as well. But what do you mix the martial arts with? Kaval. You learn MMA to protect yourself from violence, and you experienced it to learn it, aka instead of letting your parents teach you the discipline, you let strangers do it. Okay, come on. You're not listening to me, Sensei, and I will stop responding now, aka they took a parenting role in your life. How is that different? So, like, I feel Kaval and Simon like need to either tune into one of each other's streams because you're both streamer friends as well, right? I don't know if you know that, Simon. Kaval is also a streamer, and so I think Kaval, Simon, or Sensei is also a streamer. So like you should just like tune in, and then have these chats as well. I made a pootie in my truck, big stinky times in my mouth. Okay, Pug. I grew up on sports as well. It hardened me. It will. Like, it definitely teaches you some sort of resilience in your environment as well. You realize that some other beings might harm you for some reason, and that kind of like strengthens you up, keeps you upright, if you will. Okay, Sensei, now you're cracking me up. Let me get more crochet into underprivileged neighborhoods. What? I'm responding directly to you with a different conclusion to what you're saying, lol. I hear you, mate. Kids need mallets. Man, like we have so many weird comments. Do your parents mind that you smoke so much? No, they don't, friend. My mom sometimes mind, but I don't smoke so much, if you will. Like, this is the first joint that I've been smoking all day. And I've lost it. No, I've not. I found it again. Maybe I have smoked too much, but I've smoked this much all day. So, like, my parents understand that I understand what I'm doing, and my parents also know that I don't drink, for example, because drinking isn't indicative of the things that I want to say. Okay? Doesn't make sense? So, yeah. It is what it is, friend. My parents allow me some freedom, fortunately. Southern parenting is strict and demands respect to your elders, mostly and definitely whipping some butts from my take on it, lol. Thank you so much, Aunt B, for clarifying for me as well. No, my friend, because I just told you my first lesson was avoiding violence, not to learn how to inflict it. Yes, yes. The tip of the spear, I like that analogy. I'm so far behind, but I'm getting there. I'm hoping that I'm getting there. Nothing wrong with a little slap here and there. Sean Connery on beating women. Please, dude, you're being too spicy, man. I'm gonna have to stop reading your comments. I learned karate as well. I'm not confused by what you're saying. I hear that as well. Could I be the edge of the saber? Of course you can, Koval. You already are, friend. You've just claimed to be. Harry Deer says, hello, I'm from Russia. Show me how it is with you in America. I'm writing with a translator. I don't live in America, friend. I only know curse words in Russian as well. Ah, chiki-briki, kompot. That's how much I know, dude. Babushka. Oh, babushka, kompot, chiki-briki. Sorry. Please don't hate me, Fred. I love you. Thank you for being here with us. I live in South Africa. The bottom of Africa, dude. I need to go, Mel, but yes, Spear Brothers. Spear Brothers, dude. Have a good one, Kaval. Thank you for the gold as well, friend. To SD on Discover Poetry. Thank you, man. It's insane. I think I understand your perspective, others as well. But I think I'm seeing what you're saying more than the majority here. Never in my life have I thought I want to hurt others because my dad slapped the back of my hand. The most painful experience in my life was seeing when I let my father down. I'd take a slap anytime over that. Exactly. So, and as on B said as well, I do understand your perspective of like a physical sensation pain is a lot more fleeting than emotional damage because technically our brains don't remember physical pain. Like think back to something very painful that happened to you. Right, like you've fallen and you've like scraped the skin of your knees. Like sure, that was so painful in the moment, but trying to feel that pain right now again and imagine what it felt like is kind of hard. So in that way, it's easier to forget about the pain that has been inflicted because of the things that you did in that way. So it might be less traumatizing. And I do see where you're coming from by saying that. Did you know that scarves kill 35 people each year? I actually 100% believe that. I believe wearing a scarf in a lot of ways is me hindering myself because I'll like try and pick something up off the ground, and then my scarf little tassels will hit the ground and pick up some debris of it, and I'll be like, damn it, I don't want to have that happen. Or like I'll be washing my hands and then they'll get some water on it. Like I feel like it's kind of an obstacle, and I get higher scores if I can keep my pashmina 100% clean throughout the day. If I can go through life without having this obstacle actually trip me up, dude. Self-induced difficulty, man, making the game even harder to play. It's fun that way. Sounds like some kind of cover-up, Leo. Cover-up, Leo? Blind guy that left the chat? What? Are you Weird Al? No, I'm not, friend. I'm not a Weird Al. I'm Meltmore. Holding your kid with a hug is physical discipline, by the way, lol. Yeah, that would be. If you were squeezing them as well, it could be extremely uncomfortable, and could technically trigger some claustrophobia things if inside of them. Understanding all of these perspectives, dude, damn. It's so, yeah, it can be a little bit much sometimes. I'm literally watching the sunset behind you while sunbathing by the window here. The world is so fascinating, dude. I wish you could send me some of that heat you're sunbathing in right now. Your sun is gone. The sun has gone nighty night. And a happy day to you, friend. Where's your sweet little doggy today? I actually asked my sister to contain her because I knew that we had to focus and chat today. And we've been talking about the hard stuff. I'm leaving to start my morning, wishing you the best in reconciling these ideas. Have a good evening, Estian. Thank you so much, Lady Moirai. Have a fantastic day yourself, my friend. You're probably gone already, but I love you so much. I'll send you the regards nonetheless. Estian, what is your father's name? I want to use his name in my thoughts for you, my friend. His name is Chris. My pa's naam is Chris. Bye, Leslie. Have a great day. See, I told y'all I heard the tractor. You did, dude. You did. You just had a super ear. You heard it so much of earlier, dude. Like long before I could. Thanks everyone for sharing. I finally got up the nerve to call my father to wish him a happy Father's Day. I'm so happy to hear that sign. I hope that was something that was beneficial to you as well. This look the same. Yeah, dude. I know, bro. I know, man. Greetings, Father Meltmar. I'm glad I came back at the perfect time. Hello, Mr. Melt. You have a beautiful boy. Same eyes. Sounds a bit like Jason Statham, lol. For all of your differences, there's so much love there. Yeah, that's the thing as well, friend. Like, as I said, there is still love. There is still understanding. There is just a fundamental difference in belief. I do sense the love he has for you. We love each other, friend. Obviously, we have to. Your dad totally looks like Gordon Ramsay. Oh, you think so? I've never heard that one before. Blessings to you both. Thank you. Straight vibing. I love it. It's Saturday, long stream. Woohoo. Dude, we're streaming really long. Isn't it Sunday? Oh, it's... No. No, it's Sunday. Isn't it? Thank God you had me there, dude. It's Sunday today. I wanted to stream too. Damn it, Melt. I can't leave here, dude. Like, fortunately, he was only chilling for a little bit. Straight vibing for real. Absolutely, friend. I can't leave here. Yeah, this is it today. Ooh, you cracked me up too, Melt. We mixed the martial side with the arts. Ooh, oh, there you go. Thank you, dude. I'm happy that you understand the little bit of playfulness I wanted to add to the rugged, intense nature of martial arts. Never-ending stream. Woo! We'll manage to clean my whole apartment during this stream. Yeah, I think we're like pushing like 2 hours now. I think we're pushing 2 hour stream now. Get in it. I definitely will. Meltmore, there is a good book on the topic, The Giver, Utopian Happy Society. But does it work? The Giver, huh? I'll have to read that, friend. I hope it works. I feel like that's what we're doing, right? What do you stream, Insane? I will stream right after this. I will watch you too, Koval. There we go, dudes. Yeah, so Insane is basically like I would love for him to explain to you because obviously it's his journey, it's his experience, his expression. But Simon has this condition that causes him to have these spikes all over his body. And if he doesn't sweat, the spikes and the pains doesn't go away. So he like gets up, starts dancing, starts rollerblading, starts sweating, and all the while he's doing this, he's smiling, he's interacting with the chat, loving, giving hugs, dancing with mops, dancing with freaking chairs. Dude's a mad lad, and I absolutely love spending time with him. I will let you too. You should start doing some co-streams. We could have a few of us talking on one stream. I would love to do that, Tech Guy, but it's really difficult for me to do it here. Like, maybe we can do it if I go inside, but my camera is so wrecked, dude. And like, also because of the nature, like I can't probably screen record or still have my phone. Like, oh, it's just so many logistical things of it. But I do want Reddit itself to just kind of implement a feature where you can split it in half and then co-stream. It should be like something that's theoretically possible. I would love to be able to do something like that. I would love to have any of Melt's fam join in. Dude, like imagine a Melton Caval stream, Melton Simon stream, Melton Becky stream, Melton Aunt B stream, Melton Elpo stream, Melton. Do we have another streamer friend in here right now? Just like everyone, right? Just have like a little bit of direct co-creation on a stream would be so fantastic as well. And then having new friends ask questions, influence as well. Oh, we only have 15% battery left. I think we're going to stream for as long as the phone lasts then today. Willing to talk about every topic on earth. Same, dude, same. I love people who enjoy expression and creation. It's so fantastic, dude. This is what we're supposed to do. I've hosted ghost streams in the past, so I know how to do it in OBS. You'll have to teach me then, please, Tech Guy. Because I don't know how to use someone else's image as a source in RPAN. I have to figure that out. Insane. What do you do your stream about? I spread positivity. We'll skate today, then read Dutch tonight. There we go. 14% left. Yep, it's easy if you have Discord. It really is. Discord is such a cool platform, really. If you're the guy who doesn't know Dutch but still reads it. Oh, you're the guy who doesn't know Dutch. Yeah, dude. Oh, that's hilarious. Keep at it, yeah. Good job, man. I like that you're trying for a language with no prior info. Yeah, man's a beast. He wants to move to the Netherlands as well, so like it's a pursuit with a meaning as well, of an end goal, if you will. I would love to see a stream/split screen with some of you guys, conversations on being or something like that. That would be fantastic, science. And we already have a podcast, dude, that we're kind of doing stuff like that. So if you want to check that out, we did a podcast yesterday. It's up right now. I'll post it in the Discord for you friends if you want to check it out. It was only a stream between me, Christian, and Johan, Dreamer J, Noor, Poem Locker, however he wants to be identified by. And like we were having some real cool chats as well. And last time we had Tech Guy or Eric on the stream to co-create with us. It was fantastic. That sounds beautiful. Yeah, it really does, dude. I agree as well. I'll be happy to make it happen. Let's coordinate and plan in Mel's Discord. Like I'm officially going to create a like podcast like channel now, dude. I've been saying I'm gonna do it. I don't know why I keep forgetting. I'll make a podcasting channel, dude, so we can like get some sort of schedule going. Because I'm so bad, dude. Like the days are melting into one, dude. I feel like I'm just being. I love that. Oh man, I love that. Even with insane, I'm happy to have such conversations. It only makes us grow. Exactly, dude. Eventually, we will find out if zero physical discipline will make good children in the next 50 years. It might work. I think it might as well, dude. Imagine a society that doesn't approve in any shape or form of violence, where outside of sporting events, violence is not something that happens because it's just not something that's socially acceptable. Like I'm hoping for that future, at least. Say something that will help me forgive myself for my past and motivate me to focus on the future. The fact that you're breathing right now, friend, means that you're choosing life every single moment. You know? So whether or not you want to forgive yourself of your past, whether or not you want to have motivation for your future, It is still going to be the active choice, the active created choice for you to live this life. And that active creative choice and choosing, if you will, is energy that you're using. And whether or not you're using that energy for the creation of something better in your life, or the stagnation of it, or even the destruction of it, it's still going to be the same utilization of the same energy. So it's going to be up to you, friend. Like, you are the divine being that has access to that energy, access to that choice, access to that outcome, access to just this beautiful world that you're living a part of. If that doesn't motivate you, I don't think I can, friend. It's insane. I say zero physical discipline, but you know I'm gonna be using all sorts of moves with my kids. Small, durable punching bags, regenerative punching bags, dude. No, I can't feed into it. That's a joke, guys. Please don't take me serious. I know, I was joking with you. You you pulled it out of me, come on. He looked like Dolph Lundgren to me. Lundgren? I don't know who that is. Wow, I can't believe I literally thought it was Saturday, Wolves. Don't worry. Don't worry, that guy. I mean, ignorance is bliss, dude. It is Saturday. It's Saturday all day today. You just, like, be in Saturday, man. And then just remember to wake up like it's Monday tomorrow. uh, so weird to see darkness there while my son is still will still be here for at least 3 hours, and the time we have on the clock is the same. That is weird. It's probably because of the tilt of the planet as well, right? Because it's a little bit on an axis. Yeah, I think that's the right word. I had to, like, question myself if I used Afrikaans. Axis. Sounds like an X-Men mutant. It's insane. I'll definitely gonna join your gang sometimes. I also love how you're staying positive, dude. Jojo also streams. She does. So many of us creating, talking, being. It's amazing. The battery is a countdown. Melt, haven't received my invite despite you telling me I will. Dude, I've already invited you, my dude. You've already been invited. Wait, that smiley isn't passive aggressive. So, okay, now Kaval, like, I'm very happy that you interjected this or brought this up in the way that you did, because, like, we had this little bit of an exchange. Tekka was in it as well, where he was like, if someone else wants to come onto stream, you should welcome them on. And then you were like, I haven't received my invite despite you telling me to. You jabbing me in the ribs, like, what are you doing, Kaval? I'm like, oh, okay, come, dude, come, please. You're invited, man, officially. It's gonna be a week from now, dude. Probably on Saturday or Friday. One of those days. You should tell me when you're free, dude, and we can plan around that, maybe. Oops, battery is going, it seems like. Yep, 10% left, but we're gonna be vibing until it does. Peace and love, everyone. Have a fantastic day, wherever you are. Love you all. Thank you, Yater. Thank you for spending so much time with us today, dude. Damn, we've been vibing hard. I've not finished this joint, even though this is the longest we've streamed. I feel it's now only 2 hours. We did receive a few rewards, so it might have, like, adjusted the time a little bit. You friends know how long I've been streaming. Man, I look like I'm green screen out of the world. At least on... Okay, now I kind of see why you friends think it's green screen. Damn, that's kind of surreal. Like, you can see now if I, like, move, they can see the light. Damn, this light is actually pretty bright. It's interesting how exposure works. Relationships. What an amazing stream this was, friends. Like, I'm trying to think about the title now. It was it relationships that we were talking about the most? Because I feel like we were talking the most about disciplining, but we literally talked about discipline yesterday. And I'm happy that we was it consequences? I think consequences yesterday. And now we moved into this understanding, and talking about kids. But at the end of the day, it's still going to be a relationship between you and your kids, whether or not you're beating them, right, or you're giving them spankings. Man, relationships are trippy. There's so much nuance to it as well. Like the fact that you can judge a few things about the interaction me and my dad have with each other in like a short period of time. And you can judge to some extent that there is love for each other, but there is such a lack of context, really, with the amount of information that is attached to that relationship, amount of feeling, amount of understanding, amount of just sheer experience. It does make a difference. I think my parents are like questioning why I'm streaming so long. I'm so comfortable. I'm so comfortable. We've streamed this long on the dancing streams, up to the point where my phone dies, but never with these streams. These streams are a little bit more taxing to me usually. Yo, that's a lot of resin. I don't know if you can see that. I should probably do this. If you're not careful, you can get that in your mouth. Some people do it intentionally. Technically, it would serve the function that you would take it into your mouth with, but it's not pleasant. Hey, Melt, my man, how's the world today? Yo, Ventique Bug, that is such a loaded question that we've been talking about for the last, 2 hours and 10 minutes or something. It's too difficult for me to sum up, but I'll try. We were talking today about, it started off with me talking about the relationship, or at least the happenings within the relationship of me and my father. And then afterwards, we started talking about discipline and how you're supposed to discipline your children, how doing certain things for your children can influence them and shape them into the beings that they become. And yeah, it's been a very interesting conversation. I've learned a lot. Goodbye, Melt. Infinite love. Thank you so much, Kaval. Goodbye to you as well, man. I appreciate you sharing your divine presence with us as well and co-creating with me on this fine day. Glad you shared so much today, friend. I'm glad you shared with me, friend. Good morning, everyone. Hope all fathers get the love and appreciation they deserve on their special day. Thank you so much, Mr. Smities. Are you a father yourself, my friend? If you are, I should say happy Father's Day to you as well. Thank you, friends. Thank you for all of you who want to be fathers, who are fathers already. For the things that you've sacrificed and for the things that you've done for your family. Sometimes it's easy to feel neglected, and I see my father feeling like that as well, or unappreciated for the things that he has done. But that's not the case necessarily. Even though we're very aware of what he has done, it doesn't necessarily excuse him or any of us of criticism, we should still be open to being criticized, being questioned, being corrected when we're misbehaving or misstepping in the way that we're expressing ourselves. My brother and my sister is fighting now. Oh, you caught up. I caught up, dude. I feel like I'm surfing in limbo right now. I just get to be in this moment, man. I have nothing to say but my love for all of you and what you share. Thanks. Thanks to you, Kaval. Thank you for sharing this moment with us and for being in this space. Man, it's such a blessing. It really is such a blessing just to be understood in a lot of ways. Or not even necessarily understood, but listened to with the intention of co-creating with. You friends, and this is, I'm gonna say this probably 10 million times throughout my life, but you friends teach me so much, with the the perspectives that you share, the ideas that you share, the feelings that you have about things and your understandings of things. I take it into myself and I try to understand it from that perspective, from that viewpoint. And obviously I can't understand it directly from your viewpoint, but I can understand it from this like artificially with your co-creation created viewpoint. And I like genuinely feel like it literally expands my consciousness. It makes things more and more expansive in nature when it comes to the way that I think about things. Because instead of just having this one understanding and feeling for something, now I get all of these other understandings and feelings of something, and I have now all of this like surface area, if you will, to build upon. Does that make sense? I hope so. I have another one. Lol. Just give you more to read. Thank you. Thank you, thank God. I appreciate you, friend. Melt more. Melt more. Yes, friend. Nice king for you. King for you. Nice. Nice king for you. Nice king for you. Have you seen Double King, friends? It's this animation. I've forgotten the animator's name, but it's like quite surreal if you watch it. Like how you can tell a story with something that's so arbitrary and foreign, at least to our understandings of things. It's amazing. Evolution kind of matters. Oh, sorry. Evolution kind of makes us the improved version of our parents. And that's kind of annoying to them, but it's a good way. We have to grow apart, or we would stay at home forever. I do completely agree with what you're saying, Ice Cold. And it's very difficult for them to accept that as well. Like I don't even think we're just more evolved than our parents, even though to some slight extent we would be. But with the amount of information that I've had access to from such a young age, I've had internet since I was 6 years old. So, and I know a lot of you friends have as well, and some of you friends haven't, but that is a trippy thing and like not only that I have access to the internet, I very early in my life learned that if I search something into Google, like I was wondering like this and that about whatever, and I was like about whatever, then I found about whatever I wanted to know about whatever, right? And usually it would be like, oh, I needed a teacher to do that for me, I needed my parents to do that for me. Now suddenly, from the age of 6 years old, this little being has access to the wildest imagination questions it can have, right? And then as a result of that, starts to, well, as a result of gaining new information about this thing that he was thinking about, can now build even further upon this knowledge base. Like, oh, I wonder about this thing. And then you go and search about this thing, and you're like, oh, this thing is the way that I was thinking it was going to be. And also it has all of these things attached to it. So now my consciousness, my mind, my way of thinking has now these extra elements to it. And then as a result of that, these extra elements can like sprout new ideas, can encourage me to think in a new and novel way. And then as a result of this new and novel way that I'm thinking of, I'm coming up with a question, and I'm like, oh, what about this? And then I go and do a Google search again, and then boop, now I have again that much information. And having that access that early for as long as I've had that, it's surreal, because it's not something that your parents can ever keep up with, because it's not something they've had access to for as long as you have. And it becomes like an integrated thing. Like the more you do it, the better you become at it. It becomes like a part of yourself. It's trippy, dude. It's so trippy, man. Human evolution is definitely a real thing. Not going to lie, the way you said ice cold always sounded like asshole. Really? That's hilarious, dude. I didn't hear that at all, actually. Hot diggity damn. What a day it's been, friends. We're on 2% of battery left. This is the first one for us. Now I need to figure out some way to like attach a wireless charger to the back of this phone. But the problem is the back of the phone is also attached to a pole. So there's absolutely no way for me. Like I'll have to 3D design something that has like some sort of pocket like this. And then I have to slip the wireless charger in there. I have the phone on this side, and then on top of this pocket I have to design the new mounting mechanism. That would be the only way to do it. But it can be done, and now I have done it in my brain, so it's only a matter of time, because the phone is on 1% as well. Thank you, friends, for joining me on this beautiful day. We had some deep chats. That's real deep, chats. I love you so much, and I'll see you again tomorrow.